I was trying to tell you before. I found someone.
This old guy?
He's already achieved so much, and he has a 5-year plan.
What is it? Don't die? I know you're gonna be missing me when you got that big, white, wrinkly body on top of you with his old balls. Gross.
What's up, guys? Your boy Benny. We do our very best not to engage or promote psyops around here, right? One of the biggest psychological operations that are run, especially on conservative in the freedom movement, is Lib says one thing, right, that we might like, and then that means they're on our side, or we should praise them. This is something that, like, John Fetterman, it's like a John Fetterman psyop. Like, John Fetterman says, like, one thing that conservatives like, and then suddenly he's a hero. And Bill Maher is the same thing, right? And these people would put you in camps, okay, if you didn't have the right vaccine card. So just because they say something that you like one time doesn't mean they should go thermonuclear viral. The only reason I'm talking about Jon Stewart today, because Jon Stewart's in that list of people, right? He's like a lifelong Democrat, loves the Democrat Party, probably a Democrat donor. I don't exactly know that. But he's like open about his own political biases, is that Jon Stewart's like old enough and crusty enough to say more truth than most. And there's been a major cracking that has been happening with comedians especially, where every Netflix special, like these guys go in hard against Joe Biden, where comedians are starting to like make their careers off of attacking Joe Biden. And some of the older, like saltier guys are starting to recognize that this whole like Stephen Colbert, Jimmy Kimmel, like toe sucking thing that they do to the Democrat Party is a way to destroy, like actually destroy whatever's left of your audience. And so Jon Stewart, in attempting to, I think, try and rehabilitate his craft, is saying things like, Trump is exposing corporate and political corruption. This is interesting. Donald Trump is a gift by exposing American political and corporate corruption, Jon Stewart said in a recent interview. In some ways, he's doing us a service. In like, you know how they employ white hat hacker who will go into the system and find its vulnerabilities. So he views Donald Trump as somebody who, kind of the way that I view him, as somebody who's there to smash an old system and destroy it. Jon Stewart's also like made a lot of comments about the lies around COVID and the lies around some of the Pentagon expenditures and things like that. So what's the right way to say this? Broke clock is right twice a day, even if it's a broken clock. And Jon Stewart is finally like broken on Joe Biden and has given a flamethrower of a takedown of Joe Biden in his most recent episode of his Daily Show. Jon Stewart unleashes expletive-laden tirade against Joe Biden and the Democrats for blatant BS excuses about jet lag and cold for bumbling TV debate performance. Jon Stewart raged against the Democrats' continued defense of Biden. Stewart called for an open debate amongst political candidates. Here's the best way I'm going to say this, and we'll play you the clips here. The best way you can say this is, I love attacking the Republican Party. Right? Like, I consider myself a freedom first kind of guy, you know? But I'll attack the Republican Party day and night. Like, I love the battles against Ronna, Mitch McConnell. Like some of these simp and cuck Republicans, like I do that all day. And Jon Stewart seems to be like sort of like doing the same thing, like pointing the guns inward at his party and critiquing them, and it's actually quite entertaining. Enjoy.
But Biden's performance and inability to articulate at times was stunning. Like, I could not believe what I was watching. Just thinking about it again just makes me want to rip up my... Why do we make this out of such strong material? But then it got worse. Rather than respecting the American people and having an honest, at least partial conversation about what we had all seen, we were told immediately, these are not the droids you're looking for.
He has a stutter.
He hasn't debated in 4 years.
He was almost over-prepared.
He had an off night. People have an off night.
You know, the president traveled 6 time zones forward to G7, and he was also continued to do his presidential duties. And also he had a cold. He was jet lagged.
He'd been home for almost 2 weeks. He was jet lagged? How big is that f***ing jet? The point is, for a campaign based on honesty and decency, the spin about the debate appears to be blatant bullshit. And the redemption tour hasn't gone that much better, whether it's been on the radio.
I'm proud to be, as I said, the first vice president, first black woman, served with a black president.
Yes, Queen. Or whether the president is on prompter and fired up.
Well, let me say this as clearly as I can. I'm staying in the race. I'll beat Donald Trump. I will beat him again in 2020.
I got to tell you, somehow, confusion with confidence is even more unsettling. Or when the president sat down with George Stephanopoulos to prove once and for all how cogent he is and to film a bronzer ad. Orange man good? None of this was reassuring. And we're told that the threat of Trump is so great and the stakes are so high that even bringing up these absolutely legitimate concerns about the president's ability to do the most vigorous job in the world for the next 4 years is enabling fascism. Yet even the president doesn't seem particularly alarmed.
If you stay in and Trump is elected and everything you're warning about comes to pass, how will you feel in January?
I feel as long as I gave it my all and I did the goodest job as I know I can do. That's what this is about.
That's not what this is about! There are no participation trophies in endgame democracy. Oh, yes. I remember FDR saying, well, if the Nazis take over Europe, at least both teams had fun. And it's really troubling as this new information has been introduced. We just learned about this, and now we're all being told, well, you should have thought of that before you knew it.
We can't go against the will of the voters. Democrats who voted in all 50 states in the primary, that is who they want to be their nominee.
He's the nominee because millions and millions of people voted for him to be our nominee.
And he will be our nominee. End of story.
There was no real primary. Biden ran against Dean Phillips. That's not even a real person. That's a stock photo on the package for a garden hose. It's not a person. AI. And let me say this. Authoritarianism and Donald Trump aren't the only threats our democracy faces. An arthritic status quo, unable or unwilling to respond in any way to the concerns of voters who just received new and urgent information about their candidate, also erodes confidence and faith in the system of government. Get on board or shut the up is not. Yeah. Honestly, though, get on board or shut the up is not a particularly compelling pro-democracy bumper sticker.
Okay, so that flamethrower is getting Jon Stewart headlines across social media. Jon Stewart then brought out a helpful chart to describe what Democrats think when they see Joe Biden's behavior on TV. It goes like the time versus haunt chart.
Perhaps this chart could, if I may, sorry, the pen caps are made of Kevlar. Very difficult to. Perhaps this chart will illustrate and illuminate the point more clearly. For instance, in 2022, when we saw Biden give a shout out to Representative Jackie.
Representative Jackie, are you here? Where's Jackie? I didn't think she was going to be here.
Unfortunately, Jackie was dead. It's something that the president seemed to have known 6 weeks earlier when he released a condolence statement about her death. So, Then there was the recounting of a recent conversation that the president had had with his counterpart, the president of France.
And Mitterrand from France, looked at me and said, you know, how long are you back for?
Unfortunately, Mitterrand is also dead. For longer even than that first lady, so... And even on teleprompter, things continue to... Like the reading of the instructions people sometimes add to teleprompter scripts.
The percentage of women who register to vote and cast a ballot is consistently higher than the percentage of the men who do so. End of quote. Repeat the line.
At the Catholic school I went to was a guy named Riley, last name. 4 more years. Pause. 4 more years.
Then, of course, to be fair, State of the Union. Concern dropped a little bit at the State of the Union. He kind of nailed it. But then the debate happened, and we kind of, what the f***? What? Now, to my mind, the debate was a shocking display of cognitive difficulty, recognizable to, unfortunately, anybody who's dealt with aging parents, and it's a hard watch.
So how is this being received by Jon Stewart's audience? Well, I mean, we don't have the ratings for the show, but they're broadcasting it, right? And it's, well, doing millions of views on X. It's doing millions of views on YouTube as well. It's been shared 4,000 times and got 13,000 likes and got nearly 3,000 saves. So that's something, you know? This has done 3 million views in just a few hours. That's pretty savage, man. And of course, the libs are losing their minds on this, right? Some of the dumber but larger lib accounts. Hey, Jon Stewart, let's hear your plan for replacing Biden in the time that we have. Real plan, man. Not you performing in front of an audience to feed your ego. So all the right people are melting down. So I guess that's a good thing. What do they say here? The enemy of my enemy is my friend. Look at this meltdown. He's just piling on now because it gets more clicks. For F's sake, Jon Stewart, who are you now? That's delicious. That's great. Again, not simping for Jon Stewart. It's just calling a spade, right? Same way that we attack the, stupid GOP establishment. It's fun to see Democrats, Jon Stewart is one, attacking the Democrat establishment, especially when they're burning and sinking to the bottom of the ocean. It's entertaining. It's your boy Benny. Like, share, and subscribe. See ya.